In this video, we're going to talk about how to add and subtract integers. We're going to talk through how to look at it from a pictorial representation with tiles, a number line, and then we're going to talk about what the rule looks like after we've done all of this. So we're going to look at adding integers first. So you can draw tiles if you want to, which is good for small numbers, like the first example, but not so good for bigger numbers like the second example. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 negative tiles. 1, 2, 3 negative tiles. All of them are negative, so we just combine and make -7 tiles. To do this on a number line, you are starting over here at -4. You want to add 3 negatives. This sign right here, this is pretty much the same as subtracting, and subtracting always goes over to the left. So what we're going to do is we are going to take this and go to the left 3. So 1, 2, 3. And that lands us here on -7. Now on the bottom you can do tiles if you want to, but that is a whole lot of X's and O's. So what you need to note here, and here's where the rule comes into play. I'm going to show you on the number line first, and then I'm going to show you with the rule what to do. So we're starting right here at -25. We are adding positive 12 tiles. So what this means is when you add, that means you are going to go to the right. And we're going to hop over there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so on and so forth. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that lands you right here. So if you guys were counting backwards as we were doing this, you realize that we got to -13. Now do note, we have not gotten into positives yet because we have not crossed that 0 mark. On this number line right here, 0 is still way over here. On this number line up here, 0 was over here. So a lot of times, even though you may think, oh, I'm adding, that means I'm getting bigger. You're correct. You're getting closer to 0. So the thing here is, with this rule, when you are dealing with adding integers, if they're the same sign, like the top section up there, you're going to add the two numbers together, and then you're going to keep the sign that they have. So what this means is, had this been positives, had this been a positive number up here, had this been 4 plus 3, they're both positive, so it'd be +7. Now on the second example, so this was the first example, on the second example, the two signs were not the same. So what we did was, as you notice, we got smaller in our number. 13, the actual number 13, is smaller than the number 25. So we took the things away. So what you do is, when the signs are different, you are going to subtract. So if you look right here, 25 minus 12, that is 13. But then what you're going to do, you're going to subtract, and then you're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. So look over here. 25 is obviously bigger than 12. So therefore, we keep the negative sign when we do our number. So that's adding. And this next page is over subtracting. So if we look here, the same principles are going to apply. We can do tiles. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I'm sorry, these are positive tiles. So I'm going to have open circles, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when you look right here, it says -7. But if I box that number, it now looks like a -7. And so I do negative tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what we see here that happens, we see, okay, this positive cancels out this negative, so on and so forth. And the leftovers are -3. You may be thinking to yourself, wait, how did that happen? Well, because we had 4 positives and 7 negatives, we have more negatives than we do positives. I can graph that over here on the number line as well. I'm starting at 4, and subtracting again goes to the left. So I'm going to hop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the left, and I am at -3 because I passed 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, and -2 when I cross these number lines. So again, on the bottom one, it's not so hard. You can have your tiles if you want to, but here's something else that has happened. We have subtracting a negative. Now you may think, oh hey wait, the signs are the same, so isn't that -8? That is not the case in this because we have this subtracting sign right here. So I'm going to show you what to do on the number line first. I'm starting at -3. Now would you agree subtract means to go to the left? We saw it up in the first one, but here's the kicker. We have subtract a negative. So what happens is when you're subtracting a negative, this is saying subtract, go to the left, but negatives reverse that sign. It is saying subtract the opposite. So this sign right here, instead of saying negative, it's the same thing as saying opposite. So what we have right here is, instead of going to the left, because of that negative sign, we are actually going to hop 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when we count that off, we have -2, -1, 0, 1, and we end at +2. So how that happened was, we're going to talk through some rules. When you are subtracting integers, what you are actually going to do is change the subtract sign to addition. And you're also going to change the second number to its opposite. So I'm going to show you what that looks like up in these two problems. I'm going to change my color here so that you can see what we're talking through. So we have right here 4 minus 7. But did you notice how I said I could add the opposite? And I subtracted, went to the left, 7. And that's where these negatives came from right here. Same thing with this last problem right here. I have add the opposite, and that's what ended up happening. I went from -3, I added the opposite of -5, which is +5. So hopefully this helps. Practice through this, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.